A faint cry cut through the mountain air. Sharp, trembling, almost human. Ranger Omar froze mid-step. That wasn't the wind. He turned his head, listening. There it was again. Faint, shaky. Almost like a cub. Or maybe he was just hearing things. He sprinted toward the sound, boots thudding against the forest floor, branches whipping his face. The noise grew louder until the trees opened into a small clearing. Then he saw it. A pit. Deep, hidden under a mess of leaves and twigs. A poacher's trap. At the bottom, a tiny bear cub struggled in the mud, its paws slick and bleeding, its voice raw from hours of crying. Omar knelt at the edge. Hang on, little one. But before he could move, the air shifted. The forest went still. Then came a growl, deep and thunder-heavy. From the shadows stepped the mother bear. And she was staring straight at him. Omar glanced between the cub and the mother. He had seconds to decide. The cub's cries were getting weaker, shorter, broken. He dropped his backpack, pulled a rope from inside, and tied it around a low branch. His hands were shaking, his heartbeat thundering in his ears. The mother's growl rolled again, louder this time, echoing through the trees. She took a step forward, claws sinking into the dirt. Omar raised a hand. It's all right, he said softly. I'm helping him. She didn't charge. She stayed, pacing the edge of the pit, torn between trust and terror. Omar tossed one end of the rope into the hole and gripped the other tight. He climbed down slowly, boots sliding against the wall until they hit the mud. The smell hit him first. Damp earth, blood, rot. The cub was huddled in the corner, sides trembling. Easy now, he said, kneeling beside it. We'll get you out. The wire was wrapped tight around its leg, barbed and rusted. He pulled a small knife from his belt and started cutting through. Each tug made the cub cry out. Above, the mother roared, stomping the ground, dirt spilling into the pit. Almost there, he muttered, forcing his hands to stay steady. The last strand resisted. He twisted harder. Metal snapped. The cub collapsed, panting, its fur matted with mud and blood. Omar wrapped an arm under its belly. Up we go. He grabbed the rope with his free hand and began climbing. The cub pressed against his chest. The wall was slick. His boots slipped. He gritted his teeth, pulling himself up 1 inch at a time. Halfway up, his foot gave way. He slammed against the dirt, the rope burning through his gloves. Come on, he gasped. Almost there. Above him, the mother whined, a sound he didn't expect. Not rage, fear. That gave him strength. He pushed off the wall, heaving himself up, mud sliding into his boots. At the rim, he used his last burst of strength to lift the cub over the edge, laying it on the grass. The mother's massive paw appeared, claws curling protectively around her baby. Omar froze. Then, slowly, the growl stopped. The cub lay on the grass, whimpering softly, its paw bleeding where the wire had torn the skin. Omar crouched beside it, chest heaving, mud streaking his sleeves. The pit trap gaped behind him like a wound in the earth. He'd pulled the little one out just in time, but now came the harder part. The air changed as the branches shook and a deep growl echoed through the clearing. He turned. The mother bear stood at the edge of the trees, massive, trembling, her fur slick with dew. Her breath came out in clouds, and her eyes, wide and wild, fixed on him. Omar froze. Mud dripped from his hands. His knife hung forgotten at his belt. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then the cub whimpered again, a small, broken sound that sliced through the tension like wind through leaves. The mother's ears flicked. Her body lowered slightly, torn between fear and love. Slowly, she stepped forward. Her shadow swallowed the space between them. Omar didn't move. Didn't even breathe. The bear lowered her head, sniffing her cub. The little one gave a soft cry and tried to stand, but its leg gave out, pressing weakly against its front paw. She turned her gaze to Omar. You felt it? Not anger, not a warning, but something softer. It was like she was asking him for help. Instinct took over. Omar slowly reached into his vest pocket. The movement was small, deliberate. He showed his empty hand first, palm open. Then, with care, he brought out the small first aid kit every ranger carried. It's okay, he whispered, voice trembling. Let me help. The mother didn't move. Her breathing deepened, slow, steady, watching. Omar knelt, his heart pounding so loud he could hear it in his ears. He poured water over the cub's paw, washing away the blood. The little one flinched, then stilled. Omar worked quickly, wrapping the wound in gauze with gentle, careful hands. When he was done, he leaned back slowly, eyes low. All right. All done. The mother bear sniffed her cub, then looked back at Omar one last time. Her eyes met his, steady, gentle, glowing in the morning light. Then she turned, nudging her cub toward the forest. They walked off together, slow and quiet, until the trees hid them from view. Omar stayed where he was, mud on his knees and rope in his hand. He watched the spot where they disappeared and whispered into the wind, "You're welcome." By the time the other rangers arrived, the pit was empty. Omar sat on the edge, clothes muddy, rope torn beside him. Samir ran up. Omar, you okay? Omar nodded. Yeah. She's gone. Who? Samir asked. The bear, Omar said. She took her cub. Samir frowned. Bear? Cub. What happened? Omar rubbed his arm, still catching his breath. I found a cub stuck in a trap. The mother bear came but didn't attack. She just watched while I helped her cub. Then they both walked away. Samir stared at him. You did all that alone? Had to, Omar said simply. Samir shook his head. You're lucky she didn't tear you apart. Omar gave a tired half-smile. She didn't need to. The team began packing up. One of them loaded the broken trap into the truck. Metal clanked as they loaded the tools into the back of the truck. Let's go, one ranger called. Omar stood, giving the forest one last look. Right behind you, he said.